Liverpool Fan in Japan.
Hello YouTube, Liverpool Fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man, Sai. Alrighty, today we're going to talk about FSG, Fenway Sports Group, Liverpool FC's owners. Now, I know a lot of you are on the FSG out bandwagon, and look, it's your opinion, completely fair enough. Where some people actually like FSG as our custodians. And then, in my opinion, the majority of people are actually indifferent to FSG. They'd rather watch the football team play on the pitch and support the manager and the club. So let's get into everything about FSG because it's worth debating. So let's get into it. But before we do, for anyone who is FSG out, I would like you, and this is the first time I'm actually suggesting this, put in the comments right now, hashtag FSG out, okay? And by the end of this video, I want you to reply to your own comment and let me know if you've changed your mind somewhat or whether you're sticking to your guns and really believe that Liverpool could be doing better with owners, okay? And we'll be covering everything of everything. And I want to implore everyone to make this a safe environment. There's no right, there's no wrong. Let's have a healthy debate around it and not invoke any arguments, okay? And look, I'll give you some ammunition to start you off. Put your hashtag FSG, say we should have strengthened from a position of strength. When we won the league, for example, we should have bought more than just Konate. We should have been more ambitious in the transfer market, really gone above and beyond with those high transfer values and those fees to attract those players. We should have not furloughed people during COVID. We should have kept the ticket prices the same, for example. And when you have a generational manager like Jurgen Klopp, why not give him the wealth and the riches, the land's riches? He could have won it all. But bearing in mind that Jurgen Klopp came close to winning all on multiple occasions anyway, right? We were Mo Salah, unfortunate injury from Sergio Ramos. Rodri, didn't he kick someone in the box as well that wasn't given as a penalty, or was it a handball? Something like that as well. We got the Luis Diaz goal ruled off against Tottenham, even though we were well on the ascendancy and we were competing for the Premier League, and only our gas ran out towards the latter part of the season after January or February. And there's that question mark around the 115 or so legal issues that Man City have to deal with as well, because if all those rule out their Premier League titles, then literally Liverpool are the unofficial custodians of those titles and championships, because we would have done it under Jurgen Klopp. Now, it's all well and good going back with the butterfly effect and saying what ifs as well, but I really enjoyed Jurgen Klopp's tenure. Everything he did it the Liverpool way. That Barcelona night, that Dortmund night, my goodness, all those cup wins, we won it all under Senor Klopp, the Kaiser, the Maestro, and I'm thankful for every moment we lived under Jurgen Klopp, so I'm appreciative, and we did that under FSG's reign as well. But hey, look, I can understand it. Now, to protect myself from the potential pressure of this discussion and the icy cold stares, I have prepared the perfect ornament to guard my mental health. And that is the takoyaki hat. Now, octopuses can thrive in the depths of the ocean, so pressure, cold water, never fear, takoyaki man is here. Takoyaki is the octopus ball in Japan, really tasty. Although I prefer squid myself, it's called ika in Japan, ika. And also, takoyaki can take the brunt of the heat, the flames of passion. Because when you grill and barbecue octopus in Japan, it's pretty tasty as well. But once again, I like squid better. So without further ado, and for all those who believe John W. Henry reigns with an iron fist, in which case I've got a scepter. This is like a pink squirrely turd, but it'll do the job. So let's get into it. So I think FSG's tenure can be broken down into several different subtopics, okay? So transfers, obviously a big one, the budget and the transfers, running the club as a financially responsible owner, being ambitious, checking out the theory that they're really risk adverse, and seeing whether they're proactive or mainly reactive. Also considering the worst things that they've done during the Liverpool helm, and also the best moments that we've encountered as a Liverpool fan during their tenure, FSG's tenure, Fenway Sports Group, but formerly known as NESV, New England Sports Ventures, right? And how can we forget bringing on King LeBron James and those collaborations? Sick. I do love some of those shirts, especially that basketball top. And that white cream gold one, that is one of my favorite tops. But I digress just a little bit. Now, as you know, this channel is a channel with substance in abundance, and we go through all the analysis, deep dive, and cover everything of everything. And I told you before Arne Slot arrived, that Arne Slot is the top.
The cream of the crop!
And we're in good hands, and I only wore this stuff to break the ice, get you in a bit of a flamboyant, cheerful mood before we go into a serious topic, because yeah, we got to balance all the intangible and tangible influences that FSG have had on Liverpool and our beloved club. So let's get into it.
Liverpool Fan in Japan.
So when FSG came in and took ownership of Liverpool FC, won the court battles against Tom Hicks and George Gillett Jr., the fan base was rejoicing. We were on the verge of an administration. Liverpool were on the brink, literally. Now, Season on the Brink, one of my favourite books by, I think it's Guillaume Balage, was it? Rafa Benitez. Literally, Liverpool were on the brink of existence. Now, that is a scary prospect. You don't wish that on any club, even your rivals Everton, for example, because it's a healthy rivalry and you need it for the city of Liverpool as well. So much respect there. A lot of historic value there in the Merseyside derby. They came in and they changed the name from Nesve, New England Sports Ventures, into Fenway Sports Group, okay? Now, they're learning their trade in Liverpool. Moneyball, all of these metrics and analysis, player analysis. You know, we've gone into Gronenberg, the throwing coach, and the horse placenta lady. You know, all the kind of quirky, I wouldn't say gimmicks, but things to try to see what works in football. Now, have they made mistakes? They have made a lot of mistakes, but usually, especially the most prominent mistakes, they have owned up to it, especially in regards to the Super League. So let's talk about the Super League first and foremost. When you hire individuals to make the decisions, right, there's outside influences that cause you to make decisions. When you're in employment with Liverpool, you have to do the best you can in your capacity to make the right choice for Liverpool. Seeing other clubs join the Super League and with fear of missing out, and fear of missing out is a massive trend, by the way, in social media and world football, almost they had their hand played because of the fact that if this Super League thing was successful, literally, they'd be barred out because of the financial revenue on offer and the TV rights in the new world, right? All the big clubs apparently bought into this gimmick of the Super League, signed up to it, obviously, like Barcelona and Real Madrid and other clubs wanting to renegotiate their TV deals, having a massive influence. Juventus, for example, wanted it for their benefit, but other teams, especially the big Premier League teams, got hoaxed into joining this thing because it was a moving machine, the new world. But what they didn't consider was the ethics behind it and the backlash in regards to having a closed shop where they're always in the league and only allowing new entrants every now and again. Now, everyone can kind of say the Super League was a terrible idea in hindsight, but if you as the owner were dangled this carrot and said that all the other clubs, all the other big clubs were part of it and obviously had contractual obligations and signed away their rights to join this thing, can you honestly say that you, in all prudence, would not consider it? It's a very, very tough call. Especially these guys aren't English. They aren't part of the Premier League family. They didn't grow up watching football, know all of the ethics, know all of the home values of what Liverpool means as an establishment. And rightfully, they got the backlash. But they came out and admitted their mistake. Whether it's a PR stunt or whatever, there we go. They joined the Super League. Bad decision. They apologise for it. We move on. And you look at the stadium, right? So George Gillett Jr. and Tom Hicks wanted to finance a stadium, a new kind of soulless dome stadium, very American style. I'm not saying American stadiums are bad, but it's not Anfield, right? It's definitely not Anfield. And luckily that project did not go ahead, because when FSG took their time to do the due diligence on all the analysis, Anfield is a special place. How close, the proximity of the fans to the players on the pitch, creating those famous European lights, the atmosphere. They did completely right in building the new stands at Anfield, right? The Kenny Dalglish stand, the main stand, all the stands. Fantastic work. It's beautiful. It's rejuvenated the area. We can be proud of our stadium. It is still Anfield. The soul is still there. That is our rightful home. And now we have a capacity that puts us in decent standing, right, for the income that comes in. Now, this is something I want to compare, right? And this is a question I will keep coming back to many, many times over. For all you guys and girls that want FSG out and are passionate with the hashtag FSG out and have commented FSG out below, okay, you can say FSG out, but who would you like to replace them, right? Chopping and changing and saying FSG out is very, very simple, but precisely pinpoint who you would like to take over FSG. Like literally, who do you want to take over from FSG? If you want FSG out, is it DIC, Dubai Incorporated, is it Sheikh Mansour? What about Simon Jordan at TalkSport, failed Crystal Palace owner right there? Tony Bloom is a good one. He's doing good things with Brighton, but is Tony Bloom better than FSG? Why don't we get Bill Gates? Does he know anything about football? Does he even care? Is it going to be a vehicle, a stepping stone, increase Liverpool's value for a sell-on? Are they custodians for a long time? Who is it that you actually want to take over from FSG? Because in my book, and I take this from wrestling, sometimes it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. We know the evils and the downfalls of ownership under FSG, and I say evils very, very lightly. We know the slight negatives and the slights against them, but do you know all the negatives that could come in with a potential new owner? do your due diligence and let me know who is better than FSG. Who do you want to come in that's better than FSG, and why? And how can you prove and justify that we're going to have a better experience under them than FSG? Is it simply down to transfers? Is that all you want? Transfers? Let me know in the comments below. So yes, and even those new owners, having blown that massive amount of financial outlay to purchase Liverpool, because Liverpool are a very, very expensive commodity right now, right? It's just the way it is. It's very expensive because we're a successful, a global brand, and FSG have increased the value, which is another plus side on there, but we'll go into the kind of commercial value of Liverpool later. When they have that outlay to buy Liverpool, probably leveraged, probably against a bank loan or against futures and agreements in terms of recuperating finance for investors as well. How much money can they really invest into Liverpool, knowing that with Newcastle, who have the richest owners in world football, are completely hamstrung by financial fair play due to the revenue generated? Now, once again, if you want FSG out, who do you want in to replace them, and what would you like to do? You have to name drop someone. You can't just say FSG out, any owner's better. We need some kind of oil baron to compete against Man City or Newcastle. And we've seen Man City with 115 penalty charges against them, and we'll see how that ends up, whether the Premier League has a backbone to enforce that or not. We've seen Newcastle being hamstrung by revenue generation as well. Do you want someone like Sir Jim Ratcliffe? Look at his tenure at the moment. Ineos, he is a successful businessman, great credentials, and a football fan, and he knows the club. It's his club, and yet look at what they did in the summer and their struggles this season. It's not as easy to say new managers. Also, the disruption effect in terms of bringing new staff. Caroline, the dinner lady, I feel fearful of all the staff that's already there if a new owner comes in, because sometimes they want to do it their way. They'll replace the backroom staff, put in yes men, put in people that they trust, remove the board, and we will talk about the board and infrastructure as a separate point, because Michael Edwards, Julian Ward, the whole shebang coming in, that's worth a video, but a topic in itself later in the video as well. And disruption coming in, right? You're having a new coach, a new tenure, a new era after Jurgen Klopp, your most successful coach in recent history. Do you want the disruption of forcing FSG out, especially those that wanted them out before this transfer window and before the summer as well? It's a massive, massive change, and it really, really does put the club in a transitional period, because directive from the top, at least you get continuity with the same vision and the same infrastructure and the same direction, and you just have a new man to lead from the front, which is Arne Slot, right, the shiny one. So with that in mind, if you want Arne Slot to succeed, then you give him the best platform available. He would have signed knowing what he was coming in for, right? What he had to work with, the budget he had to work with, the players he had to work with. And it's very, very interesting that he comes into an environment where we're not on the decline, we're not in a downturn, and Klopp did not get fired. Klopp left on his own accord because he was tired, right? He absolutely gave his heart, his blood, his soul to the success of Liverpool FC in the best way that he knew how. The embodiment of the character and his spirit, the spirit of Shankly and Paisley, the man did wonders. He was tired. He deserves to bow out in his own timing, in his own style. Arne Slot takes over a fantastic squad who actually were challenging up until the start of the new year, until, let's say, African Cup of Nations, Asian Nations, Endo went off, Salah came off, the wheels kind of came off, everyone was knackered as well. But the fact that the core of the squad was able to challenge for so long with the powerhouses of Manchester City and Arsenal says a lot in itself, okay? And I will go to the squad slightly later, because you don't need a S-star rank world-class player in every single position. Sure, upgrading is great, right? But there's actually fundamental values and core values that you can't always solve from the transfer market, even though everyone wants a shiny new toy. And especially for the fact that, let's take the example of Arsenal, right? When Arsenal had the owner Stan Kroenke and Uzmailov as well, and they built the Emirates Stadium, how long was Wenger on a purse string trying to recruit in the transfer window? How much were they in mediocrity trying to pay off the stadium, trying to pay off the financing for the stadiums? They were not increasing the quality of their squad. They are bringing sick notes. They had a squad full of injury notes like Rosicki, Kim Chelstrom, even Arteta played for them. And they weren't really competitive, but they found the manager that they really wanted to back in Mikel Arteta with good grounding. He's a style of player that Alonso was, very game intelligent, very intelligent player on the pitch. Obviously, Everton player formerly as well. I think he played for Real Sociedad, did he not? They found the man and they backed him to a hilt. Even when the early days, a lot of people were saying Arteta out, especially the Arsenal fans, Arsenal fan TV, all that kind of stuff. But they found him, they backed him because he could lead from the front with the vision and tutelage under Pep Guardiola, and is proving his worth now, because now, having paid off and balanced their finances, they can enter the transfer market and pay 100 million for Declan Rice, pay the big money for the big money signings, right? Kai Havertz was not an easy signing to pull off. They got him with the financial leverage and the power as well. They're buying the players to add that extra lick of gold paint onto a really established squad, and now they're reaping the benefits of consistency and staying with the plan and staying with the vision. Sometimes you can't plan for just the here and now, you plan for the long term for sustained success, and I will come on to that point in a second. But think of Arsenal, right? In all those seasons where their transfer window was absolutely shocking, they had no money available, the fan base were completely turned against the owner, turned against the manager, turned against each other. Now, I don't think Liverpool have ever had that. There hasn't been such a strong feeling of FSG out in comparison to the diatribe and the vitriol at Arsenal, for example, and for good reason, because Liverpool are different. We're very much a family club and do things with the right value, and one of the biggest success factors, in my opinion, a critical success factor when you're running a club and a business, is consistency and sustainability, and that means that the squad stay together. Jurgen Klopp mentioned it, okay? We had successful core units for the squad success. Alisson Becker, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Alexander Robertson. You got Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, Fabinho. You got your Firmino, Mane, Salah, the players in and around as well, like James Milner. You have ingredients for success. Matip, one of the greatest free transfers of all time, for example. Really successful squad that you just add a lick of paint to hopefully compete. All I ever wanted from the squad was the squad able to compete, a fair shot at competing. You don't have to get millions of riches. We're not a Mourinho, Abramovich, Chelsea, where you have to have the absolute shiniest, most expensive toy in every position and use your managerial skills to mold those egos to get them right? For example, I use this example again and again. You can't have a Cristiano Ronaldo, an Erling Haaland, and an Arjen Robben, three of the best players of all time in their respective positions. They'll never play together because they don't pass to each other. They just don't work. They all want to do different things. You need to mold a team for the vision of the coach to successfully implement his tactics. I believe this squad under Arne Slot is actually very much fine-tuned to what he would have wanted, coming in, having a proper look at the players in pre-season. I know it delays transfers somewhat, but you can't just look for them in pre-season. In the competitive matches, when it really matters, under pressure, against the opposition strategy, against the oppression and press from the opposition, in the worst moments, when they trip, when they fall over, when they miss a chance, how do they stand out to be counted? Arne Slot can only find out these things by living through it. So getting to the January transfer window, this is his opportunity to really learn about his players on the biggest stage in the Premier League and the Champions League. Now, for everyone who says that, okay, our squad is not prepared, our midfield lacks depth, what does that even mean? You surely can't be talking about numbers, because we had so many numbers in midfield. In fact, we had the most overinflated midfield numbers in terms of first team appearances, I think, in the Premier League. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. You got Bajcetic in there, you got Tyler Morton in there, you had Fabio Carvalho in there. Endo is obviously a point of contention as well. Gravenberch, youngster, 22, yet to hit the heights, but he was an established first team player. Then you got other players in and around who have made an appearance in the first team, right? James McConnell, for example, Bobby Clark, for example. There are players who can do a job on any given day, and they would not look out of place in many other Premier League teams. So it's not a case of lacking the personnel. Now, if you say you lack the quality, okay, there's another point. But take the instance of Ryan Gravenberch, who's well heralded, and Arne Slot trusts in him and sees him as a player in the deep line positions because of the attributes he brings. It has brought about so many good things that Slot has given him the opportunity. Now, we always wanted to grow from within and use the academy and use our young wonder kids and talent and give them a stage to shine as well. And that is what Arne Slot is doing now. If you bring in another 6, then it kind of impedes on Gravenberch's confidence for the fact that he may not start every game, especially when that new 6 is up to scratch. Why did we target Zubimendi? Everyone will be asking. It proves he wanted a 6. It proves he wanted a deep lying option. He's not happy with his options. But I would slightly beg to differ. I think he wants Zubimendi in terms of his attributes and his profile, his ability and experience in a deep lying role to control the tempo, to move the ball around. That's not to say that Endo isn't good enough or that Zubimendi is better than Gravenberch. He's different. He wanted Zubimendi for what Zubimendi would bring to the team. Not a new 6 because I need a new 6 because my 6s are crap or Gravenberch needs time to grow. because it's not true. It's literally not true. By the fact that Gravenberch has started the season on fire, we didn't get Zubimendi and we're still top of the league. Endo's made an appearance, which shows that he is in his plans, because if he's not in his plans, you wouldn't even give him any minutes to begin with. And the fact that I've done that with Wataru Endo vlog translation, thank you Mamacita Maimi. And look, you really should check it out in the members section. You get some of these golden nuggets as well, because
he's not worried about to go to the beach, to the not the beach, to the beach, to the beach, to the beach.
She's a little bit shy, but she's tried her best, and the video was top quality. Thank you so much, everyone, by the way, for giving her compliments and encouragement, because she's really up for it, and she's going to make more videos very, very soon. So, domo arigato. Look, check it out.
So funny. The Endo is explaining a little bit more detail about like a strategy, or like what Arne Slot said, and the interview said, "Oh, you don't have to talk about that detail." Is it kind of a little bit? Is it the offer from Marseille to Deselby?
No, Marseille は
Marseille. And then somehow like Endo looks a little bit nervous for the this question. Endo as well, like, Mitch? 何て言ったっけ?
Now, if you want to see the full-length 25-minute video on the whole Wataru Endo official vlog, where he sits in a gym and gives the interview all the inside scoop and gossip, then join the members section right now. It's cheaper than a KFC Zinger bucket. Why not? Tastier and spicier too. Thank you so much, all the members. I cannot believe it. We have reached 80 members already. Big welcome to the Miyazaki Gan Ichiban. The army is growing. To Nick B, Genevieve C, Andrew W, and Mary Beth M as well. That my video must have been very, very popular, because we've only got 80 members and it's been watched like 190 times. So that means everyone's watched it a few times. It's a good video, by the way. Lenaldo1, who's joined the LFIJ All-Stars. Thank you so much, my man. You're going to get the goodies come Christmas times as well. Make sure to join the Discord and choose your chosen members number, your player number, your shirt number. This is yours to keep forever, as long as you're a member. And when we do the 100 exclusive goodies, one and done, with your chosen name, your persona name, your number on it, one and done, it's yours forever. Thank you so much for joining. And in the members section, I give all the inside scoop on Isilla football, Goldbridge, gonna do Redmen TV, Anfield Agenda, all the content creators, uncensored, raw, uncut, unedited, unfiltered videos on my opinion on these content creators and YouTube channels as well. And you get exclusive privileges such as Q&A questions monthly, giveaway gifts I'm giving away all the time. In fact, look, I've given away these boxes in the last week, these goodies and treats to all my members to thank you for your support. And I did say during the live streams, everyone will get one goodie of their choice, but guys, I've included 2 or 3 to show my thanks. Alrighty, so I digress just a little bit, but yep, join the members. That's the place to be. We interact every single day. I think transfers is probably the biggest hitting point of why people want FSG out. They're saying they're not backing the manager, etc. But there's so many things under the covers that haven't been revealed. So it's very, very hard to come to that conclusion. Now I'll tell you why. How do you know that it's Arne Slot who didn't want a particular transfer? How do you know that he hasn't got a short list of players in opposition? Having not signed Martin Zubimendi, he's signed Federico Chiesa, he signed Mamash Davili. He must have had players that he wanted to target in a prioritized list, because you haven't got an infinite amount of money, you have a finite amount of money. You have a budget set by John W. Henry and the board, going down from Michael Edwards to Richard Hughes to Arne Slot. Now, it'll be between Richard Hughes and Arne Slot to identify the targets they want alongside the scouting department, and Arne Slot will give the go-ahead to say, I need a player of this particular skill set, this particular attribute, as well as the fact that Arne Slot will want to have to work with this guy every day. It's no different than any other job. If the guy is top-notch, but you don't want to work with that guy or have his attitude or his personality in the changing room every day, you don't need to, right? That's why Arsenal went off Ivan Toney, for example, right? They had the talk with him, decided it's not for them, didn't make the bid. Arne Slot has chosen not to sign another player in lieu of Zubimendi, and we know that because he could have used the Chiesa money and the Mamash Davili money to sign the number 6 if he wanted to. But it's always not so simple as well, because of the fact that you have to keep the relation with these other clubs like Porto, for example. If we wanted to poach Alan Varela, contract release clause, put them in the mire because they couldn't get a replacement in time. You have to keep these relationships because you've got to deal with them for a lifetime. Additionally, how do we know they even wanted Alan Varela, or they didn't consider him value for money, or they have someone else lined up. Someone, for example, like Adam Wharton, who's not available right now because Michael Elise was sold. Maybe the deal was revisited in the fact that Mark Gay stayed with Crystal Palace and Adam Wharton will help them to perform this season. But if they're in the Dyers or safe from relegation come January, maybe we revisit that. And he is the long-term number 6. So sometimes it's about opportunity and having the money available. If you splash the cash and sign a shiny Choi, you must be pretty guaranteed that they're going to be successful and they're going to add something to your squad, because they are taking the place of a player that's already in the squad and able to perform. Wataru Endo, on the bench, off the field, in the training ground, the model professional who'll come in anytime you need him and do a job. He said himself in that exclusive interview that he's a veteran now, right? He's had experience. He knows his role. He's prepared. Even if he doesn't have the run of games to get his body ready, he will do what he needs to do on the sidelines to prepare for each moment he's afforded on the pitch to impress Arne Slot. This kind of mentality and cheering on the team is invaluable, because you can't have 22 starters, but you need 22 quality human beings and 22 quality players to win the league. You sure do. And saying that, a player coming in takes the place of a player on the bench, because you can only have so many players on the bench. So Federico Chiesa coming in actually knocks someone off the bench on a week-to-week basis. It could be a Conor Bradley, probably not, but it could be Wataru Endo, probably not again. It could be a youngster coming off. But how do you squeeze in those extra talents like Jaden Danz, afford him the minutes when he's back, for example? There's so many questions to ask. Rio Engamoha, Trey Nyoni, they eventually going to want to break through as well. So you have that long-term planning capacity to make sure that their pathway is not blocked. Otherwise, these youngsters will not want to sign for Liverpool in the future. So to say that Arne Slot was not backed, how do you know, first and foremost, that the money wasn't there or FSG wouldn't sanction it? Because I don't think FSG really care. FSG will give an overriding number, a value, a figure, the budget for this season, combined of wages, remuneration, right, all the clauses, and the transfers and the signing on fees. They'll give an overall number, and it's up to Richard Hughes and the team to crank the numbers and come up with realistic targets for Arne Slot to suit the attributes he wants, unless Arne Slot proposes a name himself, in which case he'll go over all the dealings, current squad situation, how easy it is to get the player, how much you want to afford time to work in that player, because you don't want a Jude Bellingham situation again, whereby you spend the whole summer waiting for him to make a decision. If you put all your eggs in one basket for Jude Bellingham, what if he signed for Real Madrid anyway? So you wasted all your time. And I definitely don't believe, because I said it previously, that someone the caliber of Richard Hughes can't work concurrently. It's not only a deal for Zubimendi, it would have been a deal for Chiesa, Mamashvili concurrently at the same time, because he can text from multiple people from his phone. That's what technology is about. Or he can delegate the responsibility to his team to negotiate and put the groundwork in. Sometimes you have to put the groundwork in a long time before the player actually signs, like with Van Dijk, convincing him that Liverpool was the only option. Caicedo, obviously we missed a trick there because we didn't do the groundwork and still tried to bid for it. Anyone who thinks we bid just for a PR move or to ramp the price up for Chelsea, it kind of blows my mind a little bit, for the fact of the work, the legalities you need, the hard work and effort you need to write up a legitimate contract, to go through all the legal loopholes and the clauses, to present it to the agent and the right channels, and eventually the Premier League and the selling club, and all the paperwork and documentation and effort and record keeping and audit trail that you need to do this kind of thing, to make it a joke or to appease the fan base or to show, look, we'll pay the money, but obviously we know we're not going to get him, so we don't have to pay the money. It's never going to happen. FSG have money to buy players if everyone is in agreement it's the right player. So I really, really go against the grain when people say that Arne Slot is not backed in the transfer market and he's been left short, because obviously look at the performances to date this season and he's shown no signs that he's not happy with the squad. He's said time and time again the squad is superb, supremely talented, and it's hard to find someone to replace the caliber of the talent of the person in that respective position in the squad, because it's not just the technical capabilities, it's the mental attributes, what they offer off the pitch, what they offer off the bench, ability to perform week in, week out, consistency, and the drive to do it for Liverpool and for the love of Liverpool as well. It's not an easy combination to find a player to do that. Now, can we get to January with what we got? Of course we can. Can we get to the end of the season? Yet to be seen. But as I said at the start of the video, as long as the squad has the capability to compete and the manager is happy and we're performing week in, week out, that's all I ask for and that's all I'm happy with. And Liverpool are obviously competing. The squad is good and there's so many players that haven't even played single minutes, like Curtis Jones in the squad. We have a full set of 22 players who can come in and do a job. Some players will have to leave, like Queeve Kelleher. Came out today and he said that he wants to be a number one somewhere with Mamashvili coming in. The writing's on the wall. It's a two-way street because we can't release him because the value of having him in the squad as the best backup keeper in the league is invaluable. He helped us get a Champions League spot this year for covering for Alisson Becker, who occasionally is blighted with some injury notes. So I don't believe Arne Slot is not backed in the transfer window. Let me know in the comments below in your thread, in your FSG out, or otherwise, if you think he is not backed and the reasons why. I mentioned my points already. Maybe he's got targets that he wanted to get that were not attainable at this point in time. So sometimes in Monopoly and other games, it's prevalent to hold on to your money and release the beast and splurge out when the right target is available. So Mamashvili, opportunistic signing. He must have had a higher ceiling in everyone's eyes than Quiv Kelleher. Or Kelleher might just be an unfortunate recipient of wrong place, wrong time, with Alisson Becker still number one, still young, still in form, and still wanting to stay. And isn't it music to everyone's ears that Van Dijk has come out and said as well, I want to be in Liverpool's colours for at least the next 2 years, as well as the Holland colours. And the fact that Mo Salah is putting pressure on Liverpool by saying, I'm in form, I'm banging form right now, no one's come to talk to me. Talk to me, guys, show me the money. He wants to stay too. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the ball is in your court. So we've talked briefly around transfers and Arne Slot not being backed. I don't think so. I don't see it. I just don't see it. He seems very happy chappy at the moment. Let's talk around the infrastructure that FSG has brought in. Michael Edwards, right? Best in class by far. Man United wanted him. Some world-renowned clubs wanted him. He stayed away, stayed with Ludonautics, doing the data analyst, the data scientist role on the side until FSG proposed to him a higher position in the FSG hierarchy where he can oversee football operations and not just Liverpool. They gave him what he wanted. They sacrificed some of their power, Tom Werner's power as well, to give him a position he wanted because they know that he has a track record for success with Jurgen Klopp and hopefully now without Jurgen Klopp. So best in class to prepare the operations behind the scenes to give Arne Slot the basis to succeed. He brought in Richard Hughes, who's a well-established notebook full of connections, especially connections in Italy as well, which is how we got Chiesa. Well-respected, great playing career as well, well-dressed, looks the part, looks smart. Him and Arne Slot talk on a daily basis. I cannot for 1 second think that there's any hostility or any tension or any breakdown communications between Richard Hughes and Arne Slot, who talk every single day. So that adds to the fact that Arne Slot will be backed because Arne Slot is FSG's choice, FSG's man to lead the charge, the shiny one. They would be shooting themselves in the foot not to back him with everything he got to give him the tools to be successful. So I cannot believe for one moment that Arne Slot is going to the season without the tools he needs to actually give it a proper go. It's a 1 in 3 horse race, you know, a race to the finish between Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool. And with Odegaard injured as well and Declan Rice injured, Arsenal in worse states than we have. And with Arne Slot's injury record as well, that only says good things about the squad because the squad will be utilised in the coming weeks and then we'll really see the strength of Liverpool's squad. But digressing just a little bit, you can't be a massive advocate of Michael Edwards coming back, Richard Hughes coming in, Julian Ward coming back as well, and that's a big one as well because he really wanted to work with Michael Edwards. Jurgen Klopp took on a lot of responsibility which diminished their roles, which is fair enough because Jurgen Klopp deserved it, right? But now they're back in place, they are best in class. That is a big pro bono and plus and positive for FSG because they put their money where their mouth is and hired the people back and convinced them, gave them what they wanted because they are the ones who can oversee the success of Liverpool and sustain success for, you know, hopefully a dominant period of time. But you can't be happy that they're back and say, no, actually, you should have done this. You should have given him more money. Should have given Arne Slot more money. You either believe in the process and their thought processes and their analysis using the data and coming to decisions that they made because they are best in class and it's their actual contractual obligation and what they're paid for to do what's best for Liverpool now and in the long run and to do what's best by Arne Slot as well. They have Liverpool's interests better in heart than you or me or FSG because they in the whole world are given that prominent position to steer Liverpool in the right direction on and off the pitch. So commercial dealings, I think everyone's pretty happy with that, right? We're going back to Adidas. Hopefully they do more of the unique kits. I like the New Balance kits. I like the Warrior kits. Nike kits are okay, but Adidas and Nike traditionally sometimes play it too safe for my liking. But commercial dealings, they're very, very good. Endo coming in as well, got us that deal with Japan Airlines, JAL. They're a quality flight company. I've saved enough Avios from consultancy to do business class back to the UK. I will do a live performance for you guys. Let me know if you do want me to come and talk with you guys, hang with you guys, drink a cheeky snake bite. I miss my cider as well because cider's not available in Japan. I don't think they can grow apples very well here. Yeah. You can't be against Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes making the key decisions in terms of finance, budget, transfers, if you're of the belief that they are qualified for their job and they are top caliber executives in that boardroom making the decisions to give us sustained success, right? And a good infrastructure within the boundaries of fair play and with the right read on the market for the right opportunity in terms of getting the right player into Liverpool. Because another strength of Liverpool is the familiarity, that family feel, right? Players look like they get on so well with each other behind the scenes. Aren't you so happy like I am to see Liverpool behind the scenes, you know, outside of the pitch, recreational stuff as well? They look so happy together. The bromances between Cody Gakpo, Curtis Jones. This is another thing about Trent Alexander-Arnold and people saying his bromance with Jude Bellingham. I guarantee you that Trent is closer to Andy Robertson and Dominic Szoboszlai than he is of Jude Bellingham. Don't always look afar, the grass is always greener. Look what you have internally as well. This Liverpool team, this Liverpool infrastructure, this base and the financial state of play for me puts us in a very, very strong position for when that next wonder kid comes. If Arne Slot can prove his mettle as a tactician of the highest order, which I think he can, that this wonder kid will choose Liverpool. The choices right now, Real Madrid, Liverpool, flaky on Barcelona where they can pull enough financial levers because they could barely register Dani Olmo, right? Man United aren't there. Arsenal are there and the pull of London as well. Liverpool will have more pull than a Chelsea unless they're financially motivated and they want London with a 12-year deal, for example. Mikhailo Mudryk, hello. So they have established Liverpool as a destination again, not a stepping stone. The off-the-field commercials looked excellent. The pitch and field looked excellent. The playing squad, in my opinion, is very, very strong. Sure, I'd love to improve every now and again on the quality, but it has to be for the right player and the right timing that works for the selling club, that works for the player, and that works for Liverpool as well. I think Arne Slot is still gauging out this squad. He's probably very, very happy with the personnel he's got in the squad at the moment. What can you say? I think it's good times in Liverpool. This is a channel of substance and abundance. I'm eternally positive. I can't, in my heart of hearts, come up with a good reason right now to be on the bandwagon for FSG out. Okay, I'm not singling out anyone. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But if you are of the FSG out camp, who can come in to replace FSG? What impact would it have on Liverpool in the near future, immediate future, for the current playing staff, for the current infrastructure, for the current plans as well, and for the current directions? Are they better in terms of commercial dealings? How do you know they'll give a better transfer budget? How do you know that within the means of financial fair play, what our remit is to actually splurge out and splash the cash? What if the player that you wanted turns out down the line that they're not the right player? Look at last season, right? We wanted Kefren Turam, Manu Kone, apparently. Bellingham, we know all about and why that fell through as well. There's another one, right? Andre Trindade, he's found his level at Fulham, and even then they were hesitant to pull the levers to get him within the club. So maybe that shows his level. And people are saying he comes in as a starting number 6. There's no world he ever would have started as number 6. And I've explained many times why number 6 is really, really hard to come in and make an impact straight away. Then we would have had a financial outlay, huge, blown out of our budget for coming seasons for the big wonder kids. Players that may or may not be up to scratch on their wages, on significant contract lengths as well, to shift, not the deadwood, but shift these players on for that new prominent wonder kid that comes onto the block, to burst onto the scene that you really, really want. Maybe you're not in a position to do that, and that would be such a shame. FSG, what else have they done wrong? Perhaps ticket prices. Now, as far as I'm aware, they wanted to raise the ticket prices. There was backlash. It was held, frozen. And then there was an increase to slightly less than inflation again. I'm not going to go completely into ticket prices, but I think on the face of it, from what I've read so far, that is very, very fair because less than inflation and they froze it for long periods. And if you compare it with all the other clubs in the Premier Leagues and a club of Liverpool's global standings, and you can't be for more money, for more transfer budget, because FSG said that they're making Liverpool self-sustainable. Every penny that they generate, they recoup and redo into investing into Liverpool itself, whether it's infrastructure or the playing squad. But yeah, I think tickets is fairly priced. You can't begrudge them for that. It's just business sense, right? And these guys are business people. The more commercially successful they make Liverpool, the more attractive it is as a whole for everyone, whether it's external investment, commercial partners, players joining the squad, bigger transfer budget, players coming to strengthen the playing squad, all the stuff that's related as well. So I'm aware that if I keep talking about FSG, I could talk another 2 hours about FSG's rights and wrongs, but I'm going to leave it here for now. Unless people really, really want me to carry on, come to my Discord. We can chat more about the other stuff about FSG. Maybe that's the way to do it as well. Or I could release a members video to go through the other 16 or so points of FSG that I wanted to go through. But overall, I cannot come to a logical conclusion of why you would want FSG out. And if the only point of contention is that you think we should have signed a defensive midfielder centre back, preferably left-sided centre back, and a backup for Mo Salah, then I don't know what else to say really, because with the amount of detailing that Wataru Endo revealed in the vlog and how much Arne Slot trusts him and what he wants from him in this coming season, and the fact that we got the Mo Salah replacement already, and the fact that if we did sign another centre back, someone else is going to get pushed off that substitutes list, because you can only have so many substitutes per match as well, and with games coming thick and fast as well, the whole squad will be utilised, but realistically you need to keep the players happy as well, and you want an overinflated wage budget for players that maybe there or thereabouts are not good enough. I believe every member in the Liverpool squad that he's retained this season, because having sold Bobby Clark, loaned out Stefan Bajcetic, loaned out Ben Doak, loaned out, for example, every player has a part to play because they're really good. They're really good players, and I like these players. They seem really good and really nice as well. So, just my thoughts. Miyazaki man, Ichiban, it means the best. Subscribe, lots of quality content coming up. Smash a like on this video, helps me beat the YouTube algorithm, get the channel seen. Thank you so much for your support always. Really makes my day to see your comments as well. I love to debate, let's not argue, because literally FSG are here to stay, for now at least. But as always, I'm keen to hear your comments below. Now for what it's worth, my opinion of FSG is they're kind of alright. I couldn't really care less. I really love transfer news. I love what's going on in terms of signing players. I love Arne Slot, the manager. I love our performance at the start of the season. Sure, I would love more transfers. I love transfers, don't get me wrong at all, but I'm delighted with this squad at all. Could they be better? Yeah, they probably could have. Could we have signed an extra 1 or 2 players for Jurgen Klopp especially? I think so. I think it would have been fair to do it, to replace some of the old guard. But how do we know that it wasn't Jurgen Klopp's choice anyway to keep the old guard or give him inflated contracts like Henderson, for example, and he wanted to keep Milner further on? You know, he has a lot of loyalty, Jurgen Klopp, and didn't want to replace certain players. And how do we know that he personally didn't say no to some of the players on proposal anyway, that some of the high-ups would have given him through their scouting assessments? I don't know. They're kind of alright. Let's keep it at that. They've done a good job to bring us back onto the perch, to bring us back onto the world stage. Can they get us to the next level? Can they compete at the highest level? We were luck and some financial fair play and other stuff away from Jurgen Klopp winning more prizes. So I have to say that we are in a position to win stuff with them. And even if you buy in extra player or extra expensive player, you have no God-given right to expect to win. Other teams always have an opportunity to win as well. It's what you do over the course of the season, by hook or by crook, and the PGMOL, up to their decisions and VAR as well. But yep, I deserve this kit, so I'm going to open one piece of kit for today, and then we'll call it a day, because yeah, I need to eat dinner. And this is, it's grey. My mood's not grey, but it's grey and Carlsberg, so it must be pretty retro, pretty old school. This is a Carlsberg Adidas, and we are going back to Adidas. Must be a training top, because it's not a player number at the back, and this isn't a shirt. This must be an all-weather training top, and I like it. Let's get this bad boy on. Whew. Yeah, all-purpose, all-weather training top. Nice and baggy, nice and loose. Go for a gentle jog in this. Grey. What do we think? It's not bad. Adidas, release more quality goodies, please. They're coming up after Nike as well. I'm going to have a cheeky bite, a cheeky munch. The deodorant on this is proper strong though, so I'm going to give this a wash first. I'm going to quickly change into a different one. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I don't particularly like fish. And by that, I mean eating fish. But I'm making an exception every time I see this white, chewy taiyaki custard filling. Now, this little fishy fella right here, what can you say? He's like... Oh my goodness. Custardy, vanilla, sugar cream, fresh as you like. It's like a savoury pancake with gluttonous rice flour. Just look at that custard filling oozing out fishy fish. Gonna need a minute. It's exploding. Liverpool fan in Japan signing out for today. Janet means ciao. Play my music.
Liverpool fan in Japan.